剣幕も賢きUsagi Jinjaの神、武道の神、伊豆凪の神、お前におるし者、住み汚れあれば清めたまえ。ブドブラザーとブドのお札を清めたまえ、祝福したまえと、かしこみも申す。Thanks for joining me in this quite auspicious small-time prayer for the placards that are made up dedicated to Budo. These placards are quite interesting. They were handmade, hand-carved by me, had great significance. The words Budo, which stand for Budo Brothers, are actually quite interesting because these characters are made up of little radicals or little pieces that are quite significant for those that are studying the martial arts. The top character, this portion of it, stands for stop, whilst this other portion, or the top portion and side portion of the character, stands for spear. So quite literally, stop the spear. And in Budo, the significance of learning how to stop the spear is to learn how to use it as well. The bottom character, Do, as in Budo, means oneself find the path. And so quite interesting that the characters together quite literally mean stopping the spear or understanding how the spear works and then finding path. So really, it's about the warrior way. It's about the path of least resistance and understanding that from the Budo principles that we glean from our training, these things are applicable in all facets of life. Really, the words kind of were modified from the jutsu or the skills or the technical prowess of physical movement. But Budo doesn't have anything to do with physical movement on its own. It kind of comes from that as a remnant. The fact is that this is about the way of life and all those other attributes that we are involved in on a day-to-day basis that make us the true warrior. It's not only about physical training, it's not only about physical practice, but it's also about the way we do everything else. So Budo is quite an interesting thing. And it's a nuance and kind of a term that's used mostly in Japan that I've discovered from looking at the martial arts as a whole, but quite significant to us as warriors. The warriors of love, the warriors of peace, and the knowledge that's contained within the principles of the warrior arts, the physical training arts, are taken and implied and impressed on our daily life. These plaques, as I said, are made by me. They're carved into sugi. Sugi is a Japanese word for cedar, because there are many old cedar trees in Japan that are quite revered in Shinto custom and even in Buddhist customs. And cedar is also an evergreen wood that we have here in Canada. And it seems the most fitting because there's so much depth to it. As the carving comes up, you can see within each of the characters some very interesting relief. And each of the wood plaques are quite different in the sense that they have relief and they get relieved via the carving in different ways. So quite meticulously carved and written, as it were. But these ones mean a lot to me to give to you, and hope that you can find your way. There's even a nice hanging device with the Budo Brothers symbol burned into the wood. Find a way to find a special place in your house for this. A lot of people have some kind of an altar set up in their home, a tokonoma, as it were, in Japanese tradition, where they can put some dedication towards their Budo realization. I have these Budo symbols in many places around my home and in my dojo. And of course, I'm writing the characters all the time. That's partially the unfolding of the truth that they contain. Yeah. Thanks, Budo Brothers.